Hello everyone, it's Phil, aka Fight Game 1992, joined again by Modestas Bukauskas. 2 weeks today, made the UFC debut. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling really good, mate. Got back to training on Monday, so like I said, the hunger for progressing and wanting to get another performance and just keep getting better. Stay strong after a fight. It was nice to relax, but at the same time, you take 1 or 2 days off, and all you're thinking about is getting back into training again. Especially when, there was such a hype, before the fight, and then you're like, well, now there's a massive come down. I just want to, get back into it again. So, but yeah, other than that, yeah, feeling good.
Good to hear. Yeah, I suppose that having sort of a cool down after such a big event is sort of you wanting to get the adrenaline going again, aren't you? I guess.
Exactly, mate. I mean, listen, we're all a bunch of crazy people, aren't we? Willingly wanting to go into a cage and throw down with someone, but it's the craziest, most adrenaline-filled experience you can have. And yeah, like I say, it's like a drug. You just want to keep doing it. It's like me and caffeine. I can't get enough of it.
I mean, talking of obviously, the experience of getting into the cage and throwing down. I mean, you had quite a bit of sort of other experiences as well. Trip to Abu Dhabi, met your manager Jason for the first time since signing with them, and then obviously UFC debut. So I mean, it was one hell of a week for you, really.
Oh yeah, it was mad. I mean, I think it was such a momentous event, and there was so much media attention on it. So it's like it really worked out really well. Obviously, with so many eyes being on it, and they're thinking, oh, well, this is like the first time that they've gone to Abu Dhabi and done this thing, and there was such a massive background story before it as well, and like I say, so much hype behind it from Dana White and the rest of the people in the media. So yeah, obviously we knew that it would be quite an extensive experience when it finally got down to it. Having to do all the stuff, even with quarantine, having to sort of be locked up in your room for 2 days, calling room service like non-stop, then going to the island, having to quarantine again, but then being able to go out on the beach and go to that cage, the one that they've been showing in all the promos and stuff like that, and then come to find out it wasn't an actual like legitimate cage with like matted flooring or anything like that. But the whole experience was mad, and like I said, that whole event, the first one, will always go down in history. And yeah, it's amazing to be a part of that. And obviously, now that they found like the correct formula of how to run all that, they're just going to keep doing it. And it's great because it gives all the international fighters who are signed to the UFC, gives them a platform to all compete and perform. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
But leading off of that, do you think they're going to sort of keep it running so that international fighters can go out there?
100%. I know that they'll probably do at least 1 or 2 more events this year. Obviously, Dana White's not really said much. He's not hinted at anything. So I think they'll probably do at least 1 more. Because, to be honest, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, if you've got, Justin Gaethje and Habib, where would you want them to fight? Most likely, with Habib being the champion, it would probably make sense to fight in Abu Dhabi. And again, who knows? I'm not really too sure what the restrictions are on flights and stuff like that. So, and you think they spent all that time and effort and money to build the infrastructure and to have everything set out and laid out there. They've got to make use of it, especially before because everything's not gone back to normal. In America, they've had a lot of the cases spike up again. So, right now it's still crazy time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure, at least 1 more event will be done there this year.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the sort of all-round feeling that the infrastructure's there while the restrictions are in place. Obviously, it's hard to say because it's different for each country, but obviously while the restrictions are in place and everyone can get out to Abu Dhabi, then might as well make the most of it and get as many fights in as we can, especially for the fans. Waited a long time for the fights to come back, so now they're back.
100%.
Pumping them out.
And they've got to make use of those facilities, man. I mean, they took such good care of us. They've done so many amazing things, like having training rooms laid out for us and stuff like that. And like I say, even the actual events where all the fights actually happen, to build that sort of to build the arena and everything like that. So yeah, I can imagine they're going to want to, like I say, still utilize it as much as they can, especially because, you know, you do one event, it's hard that they've had all that stuff done, and then it would have been like, okay, well, for one event, you know, I think that would have been a bit too much effort put in just for one event. So yeah, no, definitely looking forward to more future events being held there.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at your debut, happy with how things went? You got the finish at the end of the first round. I mean, bit of I wouldn't say controversy, because I didn't really see much wrong with it. Dan Motherheady, obviously respected referee. You know, he you know, explained they're perfectly legal shots.
Yeah.
I mean, Michailidis, I know the door was open and people are saying, oh, he fell out because the door was open, but when you saw him holding his head like that, and you see him sat on the stool, he couldn't even stand up, you sort of knew the fight was done, didn't you, really?
Yeah. If I would explain it, you know, sort of when I went into the fight, I felt okay. I had a bit of a nagging sort of knee injury, which it only really sort of flared up 2 weeks prior to the fight. And I basically got bursitis, which, you know, is basically you have these sacs in your joints which sort of lubricate and help to shock absorb you on your joints. From what I know. And anyways, I think I may have banged it, and then, you know, you're doing jiu-jitsu on the floor, and like, you know, it just sort of aggravated it. And the next thing you know, I woke up one morning and my knee was the size of a watermelon, literally 2 weeks out from the fight, and I was thinking, damn, like, do you know what I mean? This is not what I want for my UFC debut, especially when, you know, you don't want any sort of doubt in your mind. I'm thinking, you know, why the hell does this have to happen? Especially when I really want to show out my true skill, my true capabilities. But like I said, I take any situation that occurs, you know, full swing, and, you know, just try and deal with it as best that I can. And luckily, I've got an amazing physio. Shout out to Leanne from Distinct Physiotherapy. Saw me straight away, got me booked an appointment, told me exactly what I needed to do, and we sort of just controlled what the situation was with my knee. Listen, it was still quite badly swollen before the fight, and thank you again to obviously the UFC Performance Institute. This is where UFC takes care of athletes on another level, having the, you know, physios and all the right people literally at your hands whenever you want, which is absolutely amazing. So I had them, like, you know, sort of work on it and stuff like that. So we got it as best that we could before the fight. Not using that as an excuse for anything, but you know, obviously in the back of my mind, you know, things you had to be a little bit more wary of. We couldn't do any stuff on our knees at all before the fight. We didn't even want to do it in the changing rooms beforehand, because we didn't want to make it flare up before the fight. We're like, if it's going to flare up, let it do it in the fight as opposed to beforehand.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was a couple of precautions that we sort of had to take anyways, but, you know, I felt great. Like, you know, my striking was good, my weight was low, you know, my cardio was on point, so everything felt good. In the fight, I actually watched it back. I didn't, you know, I sort of didn't watch it back that many times, you know, sort of, I don't know, I get a little bit shy when I'm watching it, like with my dad or with other friends or whatever, but I watched it by myself a couple of times, and I actually saw that my movement was actually pretty good. I actually landed some pretty, you know, significant shots. If anyone would think that Michailidis was winning the round, then I think they're heavily mistaken. I think it was at least even going into the end of that round until obviously the finish occurred. So yeah, it was quite a back and forth sort of, but I think that's what, you know, Michailidis probably wanted to do. He wanted to get the takedown, steal the round, because it was very even on the feet. Yeah. You know, landed, I think, very similar, even sort of strikes. So, you know, it looked quite good. One thing I noticed that with Michailidis, he moved very well. He actually moved a lot better than what I thought he would to get out of the strike. So it was very hard for me to find my range. So yeah, you know, once I started feeling the range a little bit more, started landing more shots. So I felt second round, if I would have went into it, I would have been able to, you know, connect a bit more. And then, you know, listen, he shot in for the takedown, and I had an overhook and an underhook. Yeah. So I had all the correct positioning to stop the takedown. I could have easily just said, you know what, I'm gonna stop the takedown and go into the next round, and it would have been like normal. My knee was a little bit, you know, blown up, obviously, because the fact that I had swelling already, and then I had leg kicks on top of that, made it swell up a lot more. But I would have been fine. I would have been ready to go to the next round. And, you know, it was a choice of whether I defend the takedown and go to the next round, or I try and finish it there and then. And like literally, my dad shouts, I was thinking to stop the takedown. My dad goes elbows, elbows, elbows. So what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? And I saw his head was right there in the correct spot as well. Like the thing is, a lot of people, can speculate, and I've actually seen. Now, listen, I've seen a lot of good, positive feedback as well, but I've obviously seen a lot of negative feedback. A lot of the ones from actually sort of BT Sport on like the one on YouTube, there's a lot of negative feedback saying all illegal, 12-6. Number one, it's not 12-6 because that would be literally going straight down, which it wasn't. Number two, they all say back of the head, maybe one or two clipped or this or that. I don't think so. It's a straight, narrow strip down, like literally just I can't even show it to you, but imagine this is the back of my head. That is the bit down the back of the head. And
the swelling as well, you've put a picture up and I saw that on the TV as well. It was right behind the ear, so I mean in the sweet spot really.
That's in the right spot. All of that is legal. So at the end of the day, people can say what they want, but like I said, if the swelling was like right on the back of the head, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I did, get an illegal shot. But at the, like you said, the swelling was in the exact correct spot that it needed to be. It was highlighted on the video. Dan Moverhead has done an amazing job. He's an amazing referee, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He's there in the cage. You can see it, the best out of everyone. If you're looking on screens, you're looking from far away or whatever, you can't see it as clearly as the referee. He knew the shots were legal. He saw it from his perspective. So that's it. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And then, at that point, I was like, okay, well, he looks a bit dazed, but I thought, okay, he might be able to get into the net. He might be able to get to the next round. When he sort of stayed there, and I went to my corner, and then I saw Moverhead say, get up, like let's get ready, let's get ready for the next round. Are you good? Like, are you good to go? And the guy didn't respond. I swear he must have asked him at least 4 or 5 times and didn't respond. And then, like I said, there was a lot of emphasis on this whole door opening fiasco, which, in my opinion, it's not, that shouldn't be the highlight of everything. No. A door opening and the guy falls through, and they think, oh, well, that was the reason they stopped. The reason that he got stopped was because the guy was gone. He was dazed. He didn't know where he. Literally, even when they sat him on the stool afterwards, he didn't know where, what was going on. Listen, I've got to give massive respect to Michailidis, stepping up on short notice and giving me a hell of a fight. He's a very, very tough competitor. He's going to do well at middleweight. He's going to do really well. But like I say, he was dazed. He didn't get back up to his feet. He didn't contest anything either. Moverhead, he saw everything where it was. The shots showed it was in the legal area, and they wouldn't have given me 50,000. The 50G bonus if they didn't think that it was a legitimate finish. They would have thought, why do we need to give him 50 Gs? He didn't. Do you know what I mean? If they didn't think it was legitimate. So putting all those reasons together, I think there shouldn't really be any controversy here. But just because no one uses those elbows that much, and wrestlers usually take people down those areas, doesn't mean that they're not effective. I had it in the correct spot. So, at the end of the day, you've got to take all the good with the bad. And listen, the more controversy there is and the more people there's talking about, okay, whether you love me or hate me, in the next fight, you're going to want to watch me, because you're either going to want to see me lose or you're going to want to see me win. If you support me, cool. If you thought that it was a bad stoppage, then you're going to want to see me lose. But at the end of the day, you're going to want to see me fight. So in terms of promotion, that's good. That's good in my eyes. So do you know what I mean? You got to take all the good with the bad, really.
Yeah, no, that's true. And obviously, I've seen enough sort of clips going around BT Sport and Instagram and all this and the other. So as the more those clips are shared, the more hype and exposure it is for you as well.
Exactly. They'll just hype up more for the next fight.
And obviously, with that as well, you've got that finish in Cage Warriors. I mean, you could argue if it was illegal, why was you fighting in Cage Warriors not deemed illegal as well? Because it was exactly the same finish. I mean, you put the two together, it's pretty much identical.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like I said, because it was right at the end of the round, and the guy, and sort of Michailidis was still there. He wasn't knocked. If he was knocked out unconscious like Nasilia, then maybe it would have been again. There's so many different things. If it was a different situation, there would be different feedback. So at the end of the day, man, it is what it is, as Max Holloway would say. But listen, I'm looking forward to keep improving my skill set, keep getting better, and give you then a crazy, spectacular performance for the next one. Make sure everyone tunes in, because I'm only going to keep getting better, and this time without a nagging, swelling on my knee, which is going to sort of inhibit my willingness to sort of want to do. I wanted to go out and strike as much as I could in that fight anyways, but listen, when you, in the back of your head, anything that touches your knee is going to sort of damage it. It's not the greatest feeling in the world, but at the end of the day, you got to go and do a job, and that's what I did. So we make the most out of every sort of good and bad situation, and in this next fight, I'll be 100% healthy and I'll be ready to go. I know a lot of fighters though as well. They go into fights with certain things that are bothering them, and I know so many fighters. So listen, I give respect to every fighter because they all do the same thing. It's not just me. So yeah, we're all going through our own little adversities, and yeah, but that's what makes the sport so special.
Yeah, that's it. And with obviously the octagon jitters, was that a thing? I've heard that mentioned quite a bit. Did you feel that at all, or was it just sort of another day in the office for you?
It was another day in the office for me, and I can really, truly, and honestly say that I didn't really feel any nerve. It was sort of weird, but again, I can't say it was weird because I visualize it so much. I think when you visualize it and think about it to that degree, it then just becomes natural. You know already what's gonna, you already thought about it in your head like a million times. Like you already know what's gonna happen, and it just felt like the next natural progression. I wanted to fight here. I felt like I loved it. Like I wanted to embrace it. I'm like, I'm in the UFC now. This is where I wanted to be. This is where, when you're watching like your idols like John Jones, Michael Bisping, and stuff like that, George St. Pierre, this is what they've all been doing, and now you get to do the same. You get to start, making a life for yourself and your family, and and going out and doing the business. So for me, it was just amazing. I'm finally on that platform, so I just took a deep breath, and that's it. Just take it all in, because you're only going to get to do this, for 10 maximum years. So you got to really just make the most out of it. So it just felt natural. It felt normal. It felt like this is where I wanted to be. This is how I knew it was going to, everything felt as it would, and better. Having your name called out by Bruce Buffer, you don't get that every day. And so, and being inside that 30-foot cage was just amazing. Like I said, it's all how I pictured it and how I wanted it. And yeah, it lived up to it and more.
I forgot to say actually on the knee injury. It's quite interesting to hear you discuss that, because in the fight your movement was pretty much as normal. You were getting in the pocket and then out the pocket, and I didn't really sort of notice that you had any injury there. I mean, is that sort of when it comes to injury, is that sort of I know fighters a lot of the time say that they never go in with 100% fitness, and it seems that way. Obviously hard training, hard sparring, you're never going to be 100% going in there. But is it sort of when you've got an injury so sort of close to the fight, do you have to put on a bit of a poker face to not let it show, or?
Yeah, you do. I mean, listen, I had at least 20 people message me, and like other people messaging around in like my circles and stuff like that to each other. Like, man, this is knee swollen. When I done the UFC photos, like literally 2 days before the fight, they go, is everything all right? Modestas' knee looks quite swollen. So there's a lot of people that sort of notice it. But the reason why I moved so well is because mechanically there was no problem. Like in terms of me moving my knee, there was no problem. The only problem is if there was contact or if it will get hit like hard. So I couldn't knee at all with my left leg or anything like that, or if I would get knocked somewhere or to have to go on my knees, or it would make it flare up. But in terms of like my movement, didn't have an issue whatsoever. So it was just a weird and annoying injury, as opposed to, I can't move as well, I can't do this, I can't do that. So there's just something just in the back of my head. Like I said, I felt like I had to be wary about it. But I think, like I say, fight is you just have to get on with it, especially when there's so much on the line and stuff like that. And this is your debut. You've been working so hard for this. You got to get paid. There's a lot of things that go into it that you sort of just got to suck it up, grit your teeth, and just get on with it. And I think a lot of fighters, get on with that in exactly the same way. Even I think Kevin Lee fought with a staph infection, or he had something, or Luke Rockhold as well. So, there's a lot of guys overall that I've had to do it. And so it's just part of the fighter spirit and the fighter sort of mentality. You just go in there to do the job. And like I said, we've got to get paid. So
Yeah.
there ain't no quitting for us. You know what I mean?
No, and obviously you did get paid with the 50G bonus. I heard that you gave that straight to your mum and dad. Was that always in the back of your mind? If you got bonus, you would give it straight to them, or?
Yeah, it's written on my vision board. I said I'll give my first bonus 50,000 all to Dad and Rose, who's my stepmom. So, yeah, like they've just been doing so much for me in my life that it just sort of seemed like the natural, the normal thing to do. Like for me, I'm like, listen, you've been helping me out for so many years. My dad built a gym in the garden, like, you know, just to help me and stuff like that, and been paying for me and help, like, you know, when things were bad, they were always there for me and always, you know, you know, especially my dad, he sort of brought me up when I was in sort of the deepest, darkest times of my career and my life. And that's what sort of helped bring me back. He helped bring me back up to, you know, sort of a good light in terms of my career, and help get me motivated and inspired again. And, you know, to tell me that to not give up and just, you know, keep going, because he knows that he can see the skill level. And same with my stepmom. So listen, it was my stepmom's birthday a couple of days ago, and it's going to be my dad's birthday on the 21st of August. So I felt like, you know, out of all the times where I've just been literally giving birthday cards and writing, I'm going to give you something big one day and this and that. I don't have the means to do it now, but I'm going to do it. It feels nice to then finally be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? I've been writing it for so long. I've been thinking about it, but I never had the means to do it. And now I have the means to do it. So, you know, like I said, this is only the beginning. I mean, listen, I like to keep a couple of 50Gs for myself as well. But, you know, there'll be things that I'll be wanting to do in terms of setting up a future, not just for myself, but for my family. Because at the end of the day, you know, they're the real sort of center, the pivotal part of this whole jigsaw to making it what it is when I go out there in the cage. So, yeah, I love them very much, and if that's one form of gratification and to show them that I love them, then, do you know what I mean? So be it.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to repay the favour of obviously them putting in the time and the work, you know, to get you to where you are now. It's sort of almost the least you could do. But I guess for the next one, you're looking to get the 50G for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm young, and I want some nice things. And, you know, some people say, oh, you want to live for the experience. I mean, listen, number one, I'm getting a hell of an experience just fighting in the UFC. But number two, I want to get the experiences of, sometimes material things are an experience, like having a nice car, having a nice house, or being able to do stuff for, you know, even just with my girlfriend and stuff like that. You know, being able to move out of my house, you know, out of my parents, you know, get out their hair and stuff like that. You know, there's things that you know that you sort of want to do. And you know, you gotta be smart with everything. Obviously, you want to invest as well. So it'll be a mix and match of certain things, because I think having nice things give you motivation to keep wanting more. So then that'll make you want to get in the gym and work hard and do your thing. Mate, it's been 26 years, and, you know, a lot of years where I've not made a lot of money. I've had to graft. You know, I see all my friends, especially because I went to a school called Haberdashers, and it was like the top ranked school in the nation in terms of academics. And don't ask how I got there. I don't know how the hell I managed to pass the entrance exams, because honestly, I wasn't the brightest kid but I worked hard. I think the main thing that sort of got me into that school, like I say, was probably maybe my athletic sort of prowess. But yeah, man, it's like I say, it's been an absolutely crazy sort of journey, and I just can't wait to just, you know, just start making these visions, start making more of these visions become reality. And I think the main thing for me as well, like I say, as much as helping myself and doing all these nice things and blah blah blah, obviously I want to help everyone around me. And yeah, I'm definitely on the road to that.
Well, I was going to say it's a good start getting the debut out of the way. Any sort of, I mean, going back to that fight with him shooting him for the takedown, getting the finish with the elbows, like did in Cage Warriors. Do you think that sort of sets precedent to any sort of wrestlers out there who are sort of planning on taking down and testing the ground game? Do you think that's going to put them off, because they're going to be like, oh, if I rush in, I'm going to get caught by these elbows. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely set a precedent for that. I mean, I definitely think it sets the vibe that, okay, you want to shoot with your head on the inside. This could potentially happen to you. So don't think that you can just rest and like sort of keep your head there. But at the same time, listen, I had the correct positioning to stop the takedown had I wanted to. So people don't know about my grappling as of yet. They don't know about my wrestling defense, really. They think, oh, he got taken down and he got back up to his feet. But I'm glad that there's still these things that there's these potential holes that people see, because they don't know what I'm like. My training partners know what I'm like, and they know what I'm capable of because they train with me every day. But people who are going to fight me are just going to look at my previous fights and think that's all he can do. And sometimes I'm sort of a little bit annoyed with myself because I'm still warming up. That UFC debut was almost just still me warming up. Like I haven't yet shown everything. There's a lot of fighters who've already done that, and I've not yet done that. So, or they've shown most of their capabilities. I've not done that, but I can't wait to show it. I think the fact that there's still like that, that sort of vibe that they want to know, they want to see more, or they want to know more. It's sort of that excitement for that. I just can't wait to show that I've got so many other areas that I'm good at, and obviously with certain opportunities or certain situations, they sort of present themselves to you. I've not been presented with the opportunity to show off those other skills, and like I say, I'm definitely hoping in my next fight that I'll be able to do that, and even more, and be able to be more dangerous, be more flamboyant, not have any injuries or anything like that, and just go in there and just completely perform. I'm ready now. With the UFC, you want to perform even more. It just brings more out of you. And as the fights get tougher, I will only look better. So, I'm just going to keep working hard, keep working on my skill set. And, so there is a lot that has yet to be spoken about and to be shown. So I can't wait to do that.
The thing is, it's sort of in the fight game, being in the octagon, throwing down with someone. I mean, saw it through, especially the other night. Surprises, I ran a poll on my page, and sort of a lot of the ones who we favoured, Nicholas Dalby, Jai Herbert, Gustafsson. I mean, they were quite popular sort of votes, and then ended up sort of losing. I mean, it really does show you that anything can happen. I suppose with the opportunities presenting themselves to you, him shooting him for the takedown and you getting the finish, you sort of got to think, well, if I go into the next round, I don't want to get caught, so let's finish it and get the job done.
I don't know why my throat's really sorry. I think it's something in this protein shake. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. It's got like this chai stuff in it. It's like this vanilla shake. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thank God I got my trusty girlfriend to give me some drink. That's not the way you want an interview to go, is it? Really, really sorry about that.
That's what happened.
Go ahead, mate. Please repeat that last question. Really sorry about that.
I'll repeat that. Obviously, I ran a poll on my page. A lot of favourites: Nicholas Dalby, Gustafsson, Jai Herbert. He was quite heavily favoured as well. It shows you that anything can happen. I mean, when opportunities present themselves with you, to you like that, obviously Michailidis coming in, and you say about, sorry, I'm going now. You're saying about stopping the takedown and going into the second round, but your dad's saying throw elbows. I mean, do you think that's the right tactic to finish the fight wherever the opportunity presents itself to get the job done? Or
100%. I mean, look, you look at my record. I've got 11. Sorry, I've got 11 wins and 10 by finish. So at the end of the day, if that's an indication of I want to go and finish fights, and I think all the time when you're going into any fight, you should always be looking for, if an opportunity presents itself for you to finish it, go ahead and go for it. Don't stall around. Don't wait. Don't try and go into the next round or think, I can get a decision, or I'll tactically play this game. And then, if you can finish it as early, and as well, listen, we don't get paid for overtime, so we might as well finish it there and then if we can. And, I stopped myself from getting any further injuries by finishing it there and then as well. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that sort of go behind it. But yeah, it's almost like you just got to see red. Like if the guy's hurt, go for it. Obviously you got to be patient, sort of take your time. Don't go wild or anything like that. So there's those certain situations, but most of the time, the ones that are remembered and where you get the most sort of exciting fights is where guys are trying to finish it early. I mean, there are a lot of really good fights where it is very back and forth, but the ones where it's back and forth and it goes all the full rounds, and the ones that people remember are the ones where the guys are literally kicking the crap out of each other and really going for it. So, or rocking each other or whatever, or putting them in a dangerous position. So, I'm always fighting to try and finish the fight. I'd never want to put it in the hands of the judges, because you don't know what they're going to think. I mean, listen, we've had a lot of crazy decisions that have been made in the past, and like I say, lots of fights could go either way. So the way how to solidify the decision is finish the fight. So yeah, that is definitely a route that I try and take as much as I can.
I was going to say that's what makes you fight so exciting as well. Is obviously you're looking for the finish all the time, and that's one thing that sort of annoys me about fighters when they moan about the judge's decision, and it's like, well, if you don't want it to go to the decision, then go for the finish. But sometimes they just play it safe, and then they regret obviously the judge's decision. And it's like you can't be angry at the judges when you're the one who's not sort of put the pressure on to finish the fight. Really.
Yeah, sometimes obviously the opponent doesn't give you that opportunity, but yeah, like, if there is an opportunity for you to throw more punches or do more damage, then again, like you said, yeah, it would be their fault for not trying to do more things. And listen, I've got a streak now of I believe 7 finishes in a row. So listen, I want to keep that streak going, and it just looks so much better. It's like, if you look at your record and they're potentially people are going to be looking into a fighter who doesn't go to decision that much and goes to finish. So I want to keep up that track record throughout my fights in the UFC. So, and listen, it gives you more of a chance of winning another 50 G's. So, at the end of the day, you got to go for it.
Got to keep the money coming in and getting paid.
Same.
It's good to catch up with you. One final thing. In terms of next fight, any sort of idea of what kind of turnaround you're looking?
There is something big in the works, is all I'm going to say. There's something big in the works, and you will find out soon.
Any sort of hint on a date, sort of month, 2 months?
I'm afraid I've been told specifically not to say anything, but just know things are being done. Deals are being done, and we are very excited, and that's why I'm training my butt off.
Good to hear, mate. Is there anyone in particular that you want to face next in terms of who it is next? If there's nothing signed, is there a name out there? I mean, I heard you mention Rome Medellidze. He had a fantastic fight on Fight Island. I mean, is that something that you'd like to consider, or are you just sort of weighing up your options, seeing who the UFC throws at you and getting this on?
So we have something in the works already. So obviously that would be the next opponent. Once every sort of every fight gets done and everything like that, then I'll sort of know which direction I want to go in, and obviously my manager leads me in the right direction. At the end of the day, I've got thrown a name and I'm going to go for it. So like I say, obviously my manager wouldn't offer it to me unless he was confident that that I was going to go in and do the business. So yeah, like I say, I can't wait. When all the information gets revealed, like I say, it's going to be big, and I can't wait for you lot to hear it. But until then, I'm going to keep training hard, keep doing my thing, and keep the suspense built for you lot.
That's it, mate. That's it. No giveaways, but yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled and look forward to the next one.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Listen, thank you so much for having me again. Thank you for talking to me. Always a pleasure. And yeah, on to the next.
Mate, appreciate your time today, matey.
No worries, brother. You have a good day, yeah?
You too, mate.
All right, take care.
Bye. Bye.